Hello friends, welcome back. Today we are not feeding the worms. We are actually going to be we're going to be harvesting tier 1 here, which it's been a while since we started the starving process. I went back and looked at my notes and it said that beginning of April it was when we started the starve. So we've been aggravating them, agitating them, pulled any remaining food out. But it's getting to the point where I need to start the next round, and I've had this bottom tier, I believe tier 2, which was started without any additional coconut core, so it was just pretty much cardboard, paper bags, paper, that kind of stuff that was used as the initial bedding. That's been going really well, so we know that proof of concept is working okay. That bin's doing fine, so this top tier is going to be started the same way. And I'd like to take advantage of the warmer months and be feeding more. So if I can have another bin or another tier active that I can be feeding, it means more food. And in the end, more food scraps can be consumed. And by hopefully the end of the summer, we can have even more castings for fall planting. Today I'm joined by Wally. Wally's a little cranky. I don't know if you guys can see or saw in some of his other the other videos, he's had a little bit of a boo-boo, so he's still kind of cranky, but he's happy to hang out with us, right Wally? Yeah, you're just happy to be where Mom is. Okay, so we're gonna get a setup so you can watch. For those of you who haven't seen one of my harvests before, or my last harvest, this is the bin that I've been keeping them in. Obviously there's only a little bit left, and this has done a pretty good job of containing them, keeping a good moisture level, and here's hoping we can get a lot out of this tier. Alright, so we have the tier 1 here that we're going to be harvesting, and I'll just kind of sift through it, and then I have, it's slightly out of frame, but it's this way, is where the bin is. So what I'm going to be doing is looking to see if there are any, like I'm not going to go as detailed as I have before because I've let this one sit longer than I normally do, but I'm just going to be kind of like quickly just checking to see if there's any worms that I can pull out, and if there's any obvious cocoons that I can pull out and move the eggs to another active bin for the worms to eventually hatch and grow in. Off the bat, I mean, the texture is beautiful. I have no complaints at all. If I had like a more official sifter, I probably could sift it. I do have that garbage. You know what? I actually don't know if I showed you guys that, but I did have a garbage, like a desk garbage. I guess it's a can. It doesn't feel like a can, but it was mesh, and I was like, oh well, I'll use this for sifting, but honestly, I don't think it really matters because there's nothing in here that I'm going to be, I don't know, worried about containing. Okay, so we got one worm, and I haven't seen any cocoons yet. And that's good because that means, so this is probably I think, I have to go back and look at my notes, but I'm pretty sure this is the longest, oh, baby worm, okay. This is the longest that I've let a bin starve / be, quote unquote active but not being fed, if that makes sense. And I did that because last time I felt like I pulled out a huge number of cocoons, and I'm sure there are cocoons, little eggs in here, but I don't, oh, wait, is that one? Is that one? Okay, we got one. We got our first one. Here he is. Hello. Okay, so we'll put him on our tray here. So part of the reason I did that was because last time I harvested, and it took me so long, you know, since I'm harvesting by hand at this point, I don't want to waste the cocoons like we've talked about before, because, you know, there's potentially multiple worms in there, so I don't want them to be potentially lost. Not that they would be, you know, of no value to the garden if I put them out there, but at the end of the day, it's a closed food source in all of my containers, right? Like there's only so much food in there for them. So my thought was, I'll just let them sit here. Maybe they hatch and wiggle their way down to find more food. Maybe I pick them out on my own when I've been kind of just surfing through here previously here and there. I don't know. But the texture is amazing on here. So I'm really pleased that I'm not seeing anything crazy. And, you know, in theory, you'd want to be like, oh yeah, I want all the cocoons, but I'd rather them have hatched and just gone to another active layer. Hopefully they did. We can hope. We can hope. So I'm going to go ahead and sift through the rest of this. So far, I found a few little worms. Nothing crazy, and I'm probably not doing as thorough of a job as I have in the past, but I'm making a pretty good effort. Like, I'm not going to check every little bump here, but I'm feeling pretty good about it, especially because I'm not finding that many, so that's why I'm not looking super hard. It's not like every handful has something in it, so I'm feeling good about that. It makes me feel like my plan has worked, or at least I think it has worked. Okay, so I'll check back in with you guys in a little bit. Okay, that went so much quicker than the last one. I am going to wait longer every time. So I know we're going to put some of the castings back in here to when we start the new tier, but I just wanted to empty out as much as I could just to see visually how much we got. Now this small pile here is all we got this time from any cocoons, any worms. So just off the bat, we're going to just toss them back in so they can be all right in this layer. Oh, we're going to get this guy off. Truthfully, some of these little worms were not looking, I don't know. I'm not saying they were sick, because I bet they were probably just either new to the world or hungry, or a bit of both. Because obviously this tier hasn't been fed in a long time. So this is really great. I look at how full this is. I'll do a little shake here. I'm sure we'll find a few more, but this is a pretty big size container. Let me see, what size is this? This is a 18-quart container. I mean, the consistency on here was amazing. Of course, as we got further and deeper into the bin, the tier, there was a little bit more moisture in there. So sure, it could have dried out a little bit longer, but it's very fluffy. It's airy. It's so nice. This is going to be a great amendment for anything in the fall that we're going to be planting soon. So I'm really pleased with it. So I'm going to cover this up so we don't lose any of the naturalness of it. I don't want any bugs or anything getting in. And then we're going to get this tier 1 started again. You know, as soon as I put it away, I realized that I do in fact need the compost that I just harvested, at least to help get the biome restarted in here. So I'm just going to take a nice handful or two. I don't mind not having more. I'd rather have less castings and get this tier started on the right foot. So what, 2 or 3 handfuls of the compost we just harvested, and then we're gonna put a lot of bedding in here. And this is probably more white paper than I normally use. It's just I happen to come across some. A lot of paper bags from the supermarket. So we're gonna put probably, well, I don't know, I say too much, but we're going to put a lot of bedding in here because it does compress down after a while anyways, but I'm not super worried about that yet. I'm going to try and find some more cardboard boxes that I can break down easier and run through my shredder. And then we're going to take another handful or 2 of our new compost that we just harvested. We're going to mix that in here. And then, just for good nature, I'm going to put in some of our grits for grit. Make sure we have a lot of that going on. Get them started right. And then, what else should we add? I don't think I'm going to add ignore the mosquito bits right now because I don't think that's really a concern. Oh, I do have some of my random tea bags that have expired, so we'll put some of those in just for funsies. All right, well, we'll take the part with the little metal pieces in it off, which I haven't done in all of. You know what? Whatever. We'll sort it out later. And come to think of it, these are wax lined. Don't worry, we're not under attack anymore. So we put a couple of tea bags in. We're just gonna mix it up a little bit. So my plan is, yeah, this looks really good to start. Obviously, it's dry, and I know that, and I hear you. Don't worry, I'm not putting more worms in it right now. I do have a little bit of a plan for this, and I know there's worms at the bottom, but like I said, there's moisture left in there. So let me put the compost away for real this time, our castings, and then I'll show you what our plan is. Okay, well, really step one is going to be me moving Wally out of the way because he seems to be guardian of the worms, which is pretty much his job in life, I think, right now. So we need to put this back into the rotation. And I know in a couple days when I feed the worms again, they're going to have more frozen liquidy food. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take our tier 1, which we just restarted and harvested. We're going to move that to the bottom, so that way when all of the moisture from the other foods trickles down into the bottom, it'll all, I'm going to say, get absorbed there, but at least we have gravity helping naturally moisten the tier. And once we get down to that level, I'm going to put some ice cubes in here since there's not really any worms, especially on the top. We're going to put some ice cubes for a slow melting in here because I want them to, I don't want the water just, like if I pour the water in, that's just going to run through like a funnel, and I don't really want to sit and soak it and then put it back in just yet. So we're going to put some ice cubes in, and then, yeah, we're going to get this all rearranged here. All right, so this is what I mean by just a few ice cubes. I don't know if you can tell, there's a few in here. And it occurred to me that I have an extra grouping of paper towels, so I'm just going to literally just throw this in. We'll let it start breaking down. So it's time to start rearranging here. Moose. Now, Moose is here. Wally's here. It's a party. Okay, so we took 2 tiers off. This is the tier 2, which I'm not going to disrupt. This is the tier that we started specifically without coconut corn. It's been doing pretty well, I think. So I'm just gonna, I just want to show you guys the bottom here. While we're here, we'll just throw some paper in here, right, Moose? Moose is gonna help me. You guys probably can't see Moose, but he's very curious as to what I'm doing here. Can't hurt to have some paper down here, just in case we need to absorb any moisture. It's not any harm. Eventually, at the end of the day, it's all food for them. So we're lucky there's nothing going on there. So now that that's established, we're gonna put our newly harvested tier 1 back in here. We're just gonna tidy up all of the edges just to make sure we have a nice seal on these here. Yeah. Okay. And we're really just gonna wish good luck to it. So the next we're gonna put back tier 2. So this is almost gonna be like 1 through 4 upside down, I think, at this point. Oh, almost 1, 2, 4, 3. Maybe we'll rearrange that. So that's an easy fix. All right, and I just want to show you guys, for the renters like me who are worried about messes, I was working on my chest of freezer to do the harvest, and this is all the mess that I made, which is easily cleaned up. And so I'm going to just sweep this up with some paper towels probably, or something that I'm going to reuse, and chuck it in one of the active tiers just to get Yeah, I don't want to waste it. But that concludes tier 1 harvesting and restart. I'm going to be feeding them again in a few days, so we'll check on the moisture level, see how they're doing. And I haven't been covering them probably the last week or two, mostly because I was considering using this as a tablecloth for one of my summer tablescapes that I do, but went in a different direction, so I don't need it. So I washed it, dried it, and we're gonna just put this back in for our worms so they're nice and cozy. So I'm gonna tuck the worms in for now, and then I'll see you guys back here in a few days for feeding and check-in. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today.